My name is Kyle Platts. I'm a down-to-earth guy who works for pleasure and goes out of his way to live a stress-free, to live a stress-free life when possible. I started drawing when I was a child, like most people, but I started to take my work more seriously about 20 years ago. And my early influences were films and computer games like Duke Nukem, Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid, and films like Die Hard and Matrix. So I like to embellish these drawings with little details sometimes, so they're not so, mean. There's funny bits like a little dog carrying a weed flag, or Junkie Jesus. I didn't really care much for schoolwork, so I would embellish my schoolbook pages with accompanying illustrations. They weren't always appreciated, but every now and again I got some really good feedback. So jumping forward a few years, and now I'm a professional illustrator, I guess. I moved to London to study illustration, and I've been working professionally for about 7 years now, as Alex just said. And this is what my work looks like now. This was a poster I designed for a jazz festival in southern France, and this is a piece for the Book of Everyone. And my work is kind of graphic now, quite controlled, but I like it to have an element of humility to it. This piece is for size, and I use like the same tones of primary colors in all my work, because I find that clients like to see continuity throughout your work. So throughout everything I do, pretty much, you see the same tone of blue, red, and yellow. This is a printed ad for Moog. For Moog Music, they make synthesizers. This is an editorial illustration for So Young magazine. It's a portrait of the band The O'Reillys. And I find that it's quite beneficial if you're an illustrator that you can kind of draw humans with some semblance to real humans, and you kind of get more commissions that way. Comics. I've been doing these for a while now, and I found that making comics was a really good exercise. Working with narrative in this way in particular really helped me develop as an illustrator. And actually working with storyboards kind of made it a lot easier for me to work as an animation director later on. It seemed like a natural transition. Here's a comic I made for, here's a couple of 3-panel comics I made for Courier magazine. And this is about the evolution of the office space. This is about the pet-owner relationship post-social media age. So about 4 years ago, I decided to make that transition into working with animation, having wanted to for a long time. And initially, I worked with professional animators, collaborated, and that's something I still like to do now. But what I want to talk about specifically is how important it was for me to learn how to animate myself and how that's affected my work. This is my first walk cycle, and I use a Cintiq now, but when I made this, I drew it on like pieces of paper and that, and scanned them all in, which was long. Last year, I decided to give myself the challenge to complete my first commercial job entirely independent, to animate the whole thing. And fortunately, MTV came forward and asked me to do this 15-second ident. So here is Well Done Beans for MTV. Beans so delicious, beans so nutritious, being my best friend in the whole world. Yep. And then later in the year, later last year, I did this bump for Adult Swim UK, and a bump is kind of like the little clip, an ident is the same thing, like a little clip they put in between shows and stuff. So this is another good exercise for me to put something together on my own. And something that I really enjoy about working in animation is I get the chance to collaborate with musicians in sound design. So like that last clip and this one, I worked with Lung Dart, and those guys are like super talented and a pleasure to work with. So this is another animation by me and music by Lung Dart. Yeah. Also, like being able to animate my own work is good because I can create new assets, like different assets for small jobs. So this was an animated piece I made for Blast Skates to coincide with a poster that I designed for him. And this is the poster design. And I use like the frames from the animation to create the poster. And that's something I'm kind of interested in now, is using animation techniques in 2D illustration. So here are two GIFs that I made for to help me promote like a T-shirt graphic that I made. And basically, it would not be cost effective to hire an animator to work on something as small as this. So again, it's just been really handy to be able to make little clips like this on my own and put them out there. So I want to finish by just talking about one animation project in a little bit more detail. And I actually just finished it like 2 weeks ago. But this is a sticker set for Giphy, and they wanted me to create a set of 15 animated stickers with the theme Heat Wave, because it's like summer soon now. So to create the main character, it wasn't really that difficult to figure out, because the sun actually features quite a lot as a motif in my work already. Here's the sun in a thing that I did for an exhibition, and here's the sun in the thing just that I did, just for personal work. Here's the thing, here's the sun in a thing I did for, it's nice that, blah, 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 it goes on. A sun in a comic that I made, and a sun in the print that I made for It's Nice That last year. And so I honed in on this one, and this is the incarnation of the sun that I chose to go with. So I've refined him a little bit, and I just like made him a bit more enigmatic. And so there's the main character that I ended up with. And why the enigmatic sun? Well, I just did like a little bit of research and then discovered that there were like loads of smiley suns already. So And also, like, I like the aloofness of the neutral sun. So here's some sketches for all the different stickers that I made. Here's just how they looked when I was making them on paint. When I finished all the sketches, I put them all together just to see that they have like coherence with each other and that they work together as a set. So here's the sun, not sure whether to get out of bed or not. Here's a barbecue pig having a pig time. Beer. Barbecue. Aperol spritz. Tops off. I mean, just, you know, whatever, flower blowing in the wind. Melt time. Heat wave, that's a play on words. A rose blooming, because you have some pretty ones in there. A stadium clap or a sarcastic clap, whichever you want it to be. The sun trying to eat an ice cream, but his head is too hot. And the main one. Sunburn. And then, you know, just the thermometer going nuts. So, these are all live now, and you can use them on Instagram, or on Twitter, or Tinder, or whatever. And all you have to do to find them is search at Kyle Platts, or Melting Head, or whatever. Thank you very much.